Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Flag Top Podcast. This week here, it's just me and Nirushan. Niru, how are you doing?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
Good, all right. I'm just happy that we are halfway past the week, man. Just waiting for the weekend.
Same
And
here, same here.
I think we're all in the same boat, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so we have Gautam and Shashank are not with us right now at the moment, but they will be there at a later part with a new episode by themselves. Nirushan, if you had to pick one of them to be with us, who would it be?
Shashank.
Why
Because
Shashank?
because Shashank is the only person who agrees with me. Gautam always interrupts me. You don't agree with me. So Shashank is the only one who's on mic for now.
Okay, I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for the next episode where Gautam can give in his views on that.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Anyway, so viewers, so this week we're going to be doing something a little different, and we're trying to keep it a more interactive session. And for this week, we are going to have a look into the Liverpool versus Leicester fixture and Spurs versus City in the upcoming game week. Nirushan, to start it off, Liverpool versus Leicester. Before we get into the fixture, I have to tell you, man, as a United fan, there is no better feeling than what is happening at the moment. But there is always that little sense of doubt that in spite of all the nonsense, Liverpool can still pull off a win. That is such a painful thing to say. But where do you stand? Are you happy with the state Liverpool are, or do you feel bad for them?
I'm happy. As an Arsenal fan, we've had this kind of years like under Wenger. We've seen our best players like fall to the wayside because of injuries. But if Klopp does manage to pull off a title win with this squad, I think this will be the biggest achievement that he'll ever have. He can go on to another club, like win all trophies, but I think winning retaining the title with this injury battered Liverpool squad would be like the best, in my opinion. Other people can have something different.
No, I think what you're saying is perfectly right because everybody said that they need to strengthen the squad. They cannot win another PL, and they weren't able to do that to the fullest, if not with the right buys in Alcantara and Jota. But okay, anyway, we are here now. So, Niru, to get into it, why don't you break up with where and how this Liverpool side could or should line up this weekend?
It's going to be a weaker side than what we've expected from Liverpool because you have certain key players who are either injured or cannot participate in the tournament because of COVID. This international break has been tough, not only on Liverpool but on several clubs across the Premier League. But let's see how Liverpool line up. For goalkeeper, I think it would be Alisson. I don't think there's anybody else apart from Alisson.
Who's the current second goalkeeper for Liverpool this season at the moment?
I think it's Adrian.
Adrian, yeah, correct. Okay. And I think that's going to be an easy pick, right? Alisson at goalkeeper.
Yeah, Alisson. And when you come to the left centre back, Robertson was he did pull out of their match against Slovakia, if I'm not wrong. Scotland's match against Slovakia, but it was more of a precaution. So I think he will play this match, although he is flagged. I think he will play because their other centre left back Tsimikas does not have match fitness. So for me, it'll be Robertson at number 2.
So you're saying that Robertson will feature?
Yeah, will feature.
And he'll start the game?
Yes.
Okay.
And now coming to number 3, I think they will go for Nathan Phillips. I'm sure that's what his name is. His name is Phillips. He had a game against West Ham, if I'm not wrong, a couple of weeks back. He did start. And he's like I think he's a member of their under 23 team, so I think he will play at centre back instead of Fabinho.
Okay.
Because I think Fabinho is also another injury out. If Fabinho was there, he would have played the centre back role.
Obviously,
and
yes.
Now, number 4 would be Matip. That's the only sensible option.
You're going for Matip and Phillips. So you're letting out Gomez for sure.
Gomez is injured.
Oh, he's also injured. Yeah,
okay.
Injured. My bad. Sorry. Okay.
And with Trent out, I don't think they will play Neco Phillips in over Milner. Milner has more experience. He's a trusted lieutenant for Klopp, so it'll be Milner.
And
Now,
isn't it really, really surprising that no matter how talented he's not very skilled, but look how good Miller is, right? You can just play him at any position.
yeah, very versatile. He's been a long servant of this Premier League.
Yeah, exactly. Of the Premier League, not any club.
Yeah. Number 6, I think there's nobody else apart from Mane.
Okay.
That's straight showing.
But wouldn't okay, fine. Okay, let's go with Mane. Okay.
Yeah. Number
But
7, I think it would be Naby Ketia.
okay, yeah. Okay.
Number 8, I guess it would be Genie Wijnaldum.
Oh, okay. I think it's a safe bet with Genie. Okay.
And number 9, because Fabinho's out, I
Correct.
think they'll bring in one of their young players, Curtis Johnson. Sorry,
Okay.
not Johnson, Curtis Jones.
Jones, exactly. Correct.
And going to the right wing, for me it would be Yota. I don't think anybody else is there. You have Shaqiri, but I don't think what do you say? Klopp still trusts Shaqiri as much as he trusts Yota.
To be
And
honest, true.
number 11 would be Firmino.
Firmino.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
And are you
this
gonna keep?
is
Are you gonna keep the lineup as it is, or do you want to just move around the positions a little?
no. I think this is pretty much how they would line up.
Okay.
I just think that like if there is going to be anybody who's going to swap out, it quite possibly could be Yota for Shaqiri.
Okay.
That could be one, or it could be Robertson and Tsimikas could come in because again Robertson was an injured out for his last international fixture. So, but this is pretty much how I think they would line up. By looking at the lineup, what do you think about their Liverpool defense? VK? Do you think Leicester can have a good field day against this Liverpool defense?
See, I think any Premier League club right now, even a club that is not scoring, would fancy this kind of a backline because you've never seen these 4 names together ever, if I'm right. The 4, because you've put Milner at right back. So I think this is the best chance. And when you take it to Leicester with Vardy up front, one of the most lethal strikers in the Premier League and being consistent over the last few seasons, I don't think there's a better person to take advantage of this. And we all know how good Vardy is. Whether you want him to finish, whether you want him to move and get the centre back out, get somebody to run in. And Leicester have a lot of players now moving forward also. So that is again another advantage. So if you ask me, Leicester don't need to have a big game plan. All they need to do is just find Vardy and let him have his free game, free movement. And I'm sure the goals will come in, whether it's from Vardy or from somebody else. But Vardy will be the focal point that they should go to, which they've already done for so many games throughout the Premier League so far.
True. Because the thing is, in this Liverpool backline between Phillips and Matip, I don't think they have the pace to match Vardy's. Like they don't have the pace basically.
Okay.
So if there was Van Dijk or even Gomez also is quick. He's able to close players down. But Matip and Phillips, I don't think they'll catch up to Vardy. So if you have Vardy in your fantasy, I suggest you can hold on to him. I wouldn't captain him, but I would suggest you can hold on to him and quite possibly see 1 goal or assist coming in through Vardy. He's set for points. That's my opinion.
So, Niru, to just wind up with this fixture, I want you to have the last word. Who are you predicting to win? Or what do you think is going to be the scoreline? You can take a draw, obviously.
I think I don't think Liverpool have it in them to win. If they win, it will be because they have they've been held by penalties or some poor refereeing decisions. Because I don't think they have it in them to like break down the Leicester block, the low block that Leicester have employed, given the personnel that they have. So I think it would most probably be a draw.
Okay. I think we'll know.
How about you?
We'll just have to wait for a few.
I
think Leicester will win it, dude. I think this is that season where Liverpool have been faltering here and there, or showing a little bit of crack. So I think this will be the time. This should be the game where it can be shown that Liverpool are beatable this season and that to be for the taking.
All right. Let's see if you are right or I'm right. Well, I think we can stop with that fixture now. We can let's go on to the bomb of the fixture for this weekend, upcoming week.
Okay.
Spurs versus City. I'm actually very excited about this game because it's irrespective of the team, it's for me it is Pep versus Mourinho.
Mhm.
Yeah, so this fixture hasn't like Pep versus Mourinho isn't something that started like a couple of years back. It's been going on for the last 10 years or so.
10 years easily, yeah.
Yeah, and coming into this game, it's like City seem to be well settled,
True.
and Spurs are slowing down a bit, at least based on the last two games. What do you
But
think?
they have momentum with them.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But what do you think? What do you think about City's prospects in this game?
See, I think like we had a pre-discussion and where you put your points up, I think they were like exactly right because City have had one of the slowest starts among the top clubs. They looked really, really bad at one point, but I think right now they are in a still very good position. And if they win their game in hand, they're going to be at just 2 or 3 points up from the top, which is nothing when it's 7, 8 games into the season. And with that, you have their squad getting back into full strength with De Bruyne coming in. Jesus is there. The centre back pairing, Laporte and Diaz, is set now or looks
True.
concrete where people can say, okay, this should be the most obvious choice of centre back pairing at the moment. So City have everything going for them in terms of positives. I don't think they have a negative at all at the moment. And tactically, we all know Pep has a lot of things in his mind. He doesn't change a lot, but he tweaks enough when needed. But the only problem that I feel with Pep is he doesn't tweak it in game. He doesn't do that more often, which he can, but he's never had the reason to it because of how they play. And there's always a play even if there's no goals at the end of the day. So that's where I would say that City have it in them, but I'm going to go with Mourinho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why? Why Mourinho?
I just don't know, man. Whatever you say, dude, Mourinho always has that little bit of luck going his way, but he also has that thing that where and when it matters and when he needs a say, he gets a last say. Even with United, we've all seen so many poor games and all, but there have been times when he's had that. You remember that UAE game, right, where we went and won in the CL? So that was an unexpected one. So that's what I'm saying. Mourinho has that, and with momentum in their favor, one kick of the ball could suddenly change everything in that fixture. And I think that's what could be the helpful factor for Spurs. But what is your take on the fixture?
For me, I think Spurs will get found out in this game. Coming into this game, in comparison to City, they've had a easier run of fixtures. But from this point onwards, it's going to change for them. And I think this game will be that, the changing point for them. Until now, Spurs have always found it difficult against teams where they've had to take the onus of attack, like against West Brom and Burnley. These are lesser teams where they've had to attack and they've had only like 1-0 wins. Whereas against teams like United, where they were on the back foot, right? They've managed to blow away teams because of the counter attack, and that's something that even against Southampton that played into the favor because Southampton was like they were going all out attack right from the back, and that opened up space at the back. Now in this City game, I think that is the X factor. Pep Guardiola is not going to change. He's going to be like, my entire team will attack, and this could play into Spurs' hands because they're going to come out all out attack, and Mourinho is going to have Son and Harry Kane counter.
True. That duo is working really well for them.
Yeah. So in this game, the thing is, it's very difficult for me to say who's going to win because when you think of it logically, the way City are going to play is going to favor Spurs. But I just think that City have more X factor players who are match winner players who can actually pull this game away from Tottenham.
Agreed.
Yeah, so it's going to be a very exciting match. I don't know. For one thing is for certain, I don't think it's going to be a dull 0-0 draw.
No.
Even if it's a 0-0 draw, I think it'll be a very exciting game.
It'll be a happening game.
Yeah, it'll be a very
with
happening
its fair
game.
share of events.
True. And but let's see. But I'm just hoping, as an Arsenal fan, I want Spurs to lose. And I'm pretty sure you, as a United fan, you want City to lose.
Obviously, that's always there.
So I don't know. For me, I find it difficult to call this fixture. How about you?
I think like we summed it up where we said we chose our size and everything, but I think we can have a little bit of discussion of the run of fixtures that both of them are having going past this game week. And Spurs are having, like you said, a tougher line of fixtures going forward post this game. What they have: Chelsea away, Crystal Palace away, which certainly turns out to be a tricky fixture based on Crystal Palace form.
Crystal Palace is always tricky.
Yeah,
Crystal Palace away is always tricky. Always
exactly.
tricky.
And then again, they have Liverpool away. But imagine if they actually, out of these 9 points, even if they get 6 points, it still is great.
Yeah, it's great.
And it's a really good thing for them when they're actually at the top fighting for the Premier League so far.
Yeah, precisely. So that's where the point that I said comes up. You look at the 3 fixtures that they have. They have Chelsea, Crystal Palace, and Liverpool. Out of these 3 teams, Chelsea and Liverpool are teams who like to play on the front foot. They like to attack. They're not going to sit back like Crystal Palace. So because they like to attack, that's going to open up space in the defense for Harry Kane and Son. So in essence, even though it's like on paper, you're like, oh my God, it's Chelsea versus Spurs. The way the teams play could actually favor Spurs. And the thing is, the logical side of me is looking at it and seeing that Spurs have something in this game, in these 3 fixtures. And
so basically, Spurs just need to follow your guidance on saying, let's stick to Harry Kane and Son duo for a counter during the whole next 4 fixtures.
Yeah. It's not really counter, it's just the way that the other teams play. And if you're going to sit back, if you're not sit back, if you're going to attack, you're going to come out all out attack, you're just playing into Mourinho's handbook.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, correct.
That you're just playing into Mourinho's handbook. And so for me, when I'm looking at it, I'm just thinking like you said, do you think if they'll get 6 points? I think there is a strong possibility that they can get 6 points.
I think they should.
Yeah. So, but let's see how things happen. I mean, I don't know. They could be just one injury away because if Harry Kane's gone, they lose their edge.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true.
Harry Kane is like right now he's one of the most. Yeah, he's one of the most complete players in the Premier League. But then if they lose Harry Kane, they lose their edge. But in comparison to Spurs fixtures, now you look at City's fixtures. They have Burnley, Fulham, and then the Derby where they play United away. Again, even if United is in their weakest, Derby's a totally
Derby's have favored us lately.
Yeah, Derby's a totally different game, and United is a totally different animal in the Derby. But let's see. But I think moving forward between Spurs and City have like more favorable fixtures on paper. But then who knows what will happen on that given day.
Fair point. But like you said, the City fixtures are really easy. Burnley and Fulham at home. No need to travel. A lot of rest. I think it's the perfect fixture for them to just start, not just with that momentum, like to just cement their place at the top, maybe even at the top of the table by the end of the, December 12 game week. So I really think that this is the chance City can actually step up and cement themselves as the contenders for the season. Otherwise, they shouldn't just be running around at the top 4 and at the last trying to make up for lost points.
True.
Okay, Niru. I think with that, we've covered enough for the game week. Is there anything you'd like to say just to finish up the segments?
It is not related to what we spoke, but I just hope that Arsenal have a good game. It's just been a very poor game before the international break and then 2 weeks of no football. I just hope that they play well against Leeds. I am praying to the gods.
I just hope that doesn't happen, just so that I can take your case a little more. Okay, Niru. Anyway, with that, I think let's wind up with this segment. And thank you for making time. I hope we see you probably towards the weekend or maybe soon, early next week. And peace out, buddy.